8.
You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
Every week I open the show and I tell you how excited I am for the show and for the guest and for what's going to come. And I'm always right. But today I'm very excited because for me this is the big deal. This is someone I've never really interviewed today before, especially on this show and on my previous YouTube show. But this person has been so instrumental. I can truly say that in a lot of ways, if it wasn't for this person, I wouldn't be here doing this today. Rob Anderson is my guest today. Rob Anderson got me started. What's up, Eddie? What's up, Make Two? Rob Anderson was the first guy to give me work as an editor. It's the first one who and he was the person who I realized that's what I wanted to be when I worked with him. He was the first person to put me on the air and really give me some airtime and really show me that this whole live broadcasting thing is something that I love doing. And he's given me notes. He's been just a massive help in my comic career, in my podcasting career, whatever that is. But yeah, so I'm so excited to have him here on the show to be able to show off his cool books, of which I've certainly helped on a fair amount of them, and I know them quite well. So yeah, man, you know what? We've got a bunch of you guys in here. I'm so excited for this episode. It is going to be a bit more of an adult-themed episode, but Rob and I we're able to act like adults. So there won't be any cursing or nudity or anything, but we'll certainly be talking about it. I just tried to hit the like button, but it didn't work. Oh no, Make Two. Well, keep trying. But good to see all you guys. And you know what? Enough of this. Let's sit down and chat with Rob. Let's do it.
You make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Dude, what is up?
What's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing?
Rob, I had so many things in my mind for that introduction. And as I'm going, they all start to disappear. And I'm like, I want to talk about advocates and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, oh, well, I've known the guy for way too long. We've worked on so much stuff. So yeah, but dude, your advocacy for comics, you're an advocate. I feel like you should just be called the advocate, because that's what you do. You advocate for things that are important to you. You advocated for indie comics. You've advocated, obviously just comics. You've advocated for autism because of your amazing son, Jax. You've advocated for what I believe we're going to be speaking to today, and that is sexuality. In a way, you advocate about somebody, kink educator. That's a very good way of putting it. That's a great way of putting it. That's right. He is the advocator. So yeah, man, I'm excited to sit down. Excited to finally talk to you. It's been way too damn long. How you doing, homie?
I'm doing good. Getting ready to go home. Tomorrow I get to fly to New York City, spend some time in my home. I no longer live there. I live down in Florida. And yes, it's as interesting as the tabloids make it.
Don't I know it? So what book are we talking about today?
We're talking about the evolution of a project, and it's a good thing I listened to the intro to hear there is no cursing, because
I know, that's specifically why I mentioned it, because I was like, I didn't tell him, and he knows that I love to curse, so.
And they just come out my mouth. They just fall out. Is there like a job I can just put money in now and stay ahead of the curve?
Right. Well, so what we do is we say this is a PG-13 show. And I like to try to save my swear word for the very last thing so that I can drop my exit. But if a guest takes it, the guest always has first right to the one swear word. So if you take the one swear word, I have to say something different at the end. And I always have fun with it, so you're good.
So we have the Deadpool rule. Just one.
Yeah, that's it exactly. The Deadpool rule.
So we're here talking about. Let's see if. Ooh, I don't think it's bright enough in my room. We're here talking
Blue
about.
screen is awesome.
Yeah, the desire index. Let's see. There we go. Trying to. Well, I'll put it in front of me. There it is. The desire index. So this is an actual workbook. And as Chuck said, he worked on one of the projects that I had going and I still have going, called Barbara Unleashed, which is about a young woman's journey through the New York City kinky underground. And in 7 years, since we actually launched the very first book 7 years ago this year, and I've called it the 7-year itch. After 7 years, how much have I learned? How much has changed? And what needs to be talked about? It's a new generation coming in now. And this new generation's kind of challenging older ideas, rightfully so. Every new generation gets to do that. I happen to be in that generation that's sometimes looked at as now in control of it. As weird as that is, like I'm the adult in the room and people keep looking at me. And I was used to that being a manager, but now being the adult in the room, I'm always looking around for the adult myself. Like, who's going to take this one? And I'm like, oh shit, they're looking at me. Oh, sorry, I took your curse.
Oh, you're good, homie. You're good. It was yours to take.
now I have none, but no. It is about the kinky environment is very dangerous. As much as it can be a very fulfilling environment, it can be a very dangerous environment. And a lot of it comes from misinformation. A lot of it comes from, and I've talked about this. It's been a big issue for me, community, lately. And in one of the local communities I'm part of now, they call out new people. Like, oh, you're new. That's awesome. What's your name? Oh, you're new. Tell us about yourself. What a lot of people don't realize is that calling out someone who's brand new, especially in the kinky sphere, can be very dangerous to the new people because predators want to actually go after them because they don't know any better. And Chuck has shared a table with me and he's seen me talk to someone for a very long time and give them a big hug because a lot of survivors who have gone through something, who read my book, had wished they had read my book earlier. And that's always the thing that bothers me the most is that my book wasn't out there more. So with this edition, I have bigger and bigger plans for it. This is just the starting point. We were supposed to launch this in January. We stepped back for a few minutes to basically retool it and make it even better. And then we wound up launching it. But the idea is to start here and go bigger. There are, and you've worked on the BDSM survey, so that takes the BDSM survey to the next level. It actually we're going to have a kinky online, basically group of information. We're calling it it might be the Kinky Encyclopedia. We're kind of throwing things around right now because it's going to have all this information. Right now, it's the Kinky database, but we don't know if we're sticking there. The basic idea is as much as we can get done, we're going to try to get done, put onto a server, or for us, it's going to be Word docs. And you can actually download it and put it in. The entire book here, which is now in a binder, it's meant for you to update it as much as you want and to fill it out and to keep information about yourself. And it's very hard because despite the content, it's not sexual. So people are looking for like the cover that they can sell that makes it, all excitable, their cover, where it's a half-naked woman. We don't do that because a lot of people misunderstand that with the kinky culture, that somehow it's inherently sexual, but it's not. There are people from all different types, diversity from asexual to even nymphos. It's all under that umbrella. So to say that it's one thing is the wrong thing to say. So this is education on a different level, and it's meant to really let a person sit down and maybe even some vanilla people fill some of this out, and they might realize they have a kink or two themselves.
Yeah, maybe they're not as vanilla as they assume they are. Speaking from the vanilla aspect, as I always was kind of the vanilla editor for you. I loved working on the Barbara Unleashed books in that world because I felt like I learned so much, and I really loved your take. Because all too often, when we see kink in comics, it's, or media in general, right? Like, I love how part of your thing was just completely trashing the gray, whatever it is. Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey, and I love that. And it's because a lot of them get it wrong, just simply in the fact that, people love to be beaten, and it's always like this and it's always like that, and there was so many different ways they got it wrong, especially. And for you, the big thing seemed to be is that you need to both be in on it. Like whether you're the dom or the sub, you both have to be okay with what's happening. You have to kind of talk it out, and there's rules to it. And that was something really interesting that I had not really recognized. So can you give us a little bit of that, especially like maybe red light, green light, and stuff like that?
I'll give you a few. I've even come up with my own acronyms. BDSM is an acronym that used to stand for things that no longer does. It's now considered an umbrella term. And there are some good acronyms like SSC, which is safe, sane, consensual. Those are kind of like boundary points. I made something called new, and I know that you know the word, but the interesting is it looks at it differently. It tells people who want to do this, you need to know what and everything has it. So what are your needs? What are your expectations and what are your wants? Because you need something to be involved. You want to tell the expectations from the other person. And in the end, the wants, because you can have an expectation to leave the scene and feel like you just won the lottery. It might not be a realistic expectation, but sure. But what do you want from it? And that's an interesting way to sit people down. There's things like the safe words, like we've talked about. Mm-hmm. And safe words have kind of evolved even my thinking on it. Because saying one word can't encapsulate everything. It can't. It just stops play. So everything that's happening just stops. And it doesn't always have to stop. Sometimes it's just my hand is numb. Can you adjust the ropes? So I've gone more with the safety light system and even improved on it. So now we have green means go, everything's fine. Yellow means slow down. Okay, don't go much further. Red means stop. But we also now have purple, which can stand for an emotional issue or trigger that's happening and to check in with the person you're playing with. We have gold, which means golden. Keep going. We have blue for a medical emergency. So there's a way to communicate within play without stopping the play. It doesn't come like that screeching halt. Instead, you're still in it and talking to people. One of the things I teach the most is the 2-finger trick. And this is something you've been doing since you were a baby and you don't even realize it. Your parents used to put your fingers and they would used to squeeze them. And you would know it and it would comfort you. So now when I do this to someone I'm playing with, they squeeze my fingers. I know everything's okay. So if they're gagged or even in subspace, I completely know what's going on with them. And I know that they're okay and I can continue. Because sometimes in this type of lifestyle, people get nonverbal. Think about like the most exciting moment of your life and someone asking you a question. You don't want to talk about it. So instead, you can just squeeze and say, hi, I'm with you. You've negotiated. And then you're talking about boundaries and limits. And again, it's about the expectations, the simple ones of like, did I ask permission? Because if you don't ask permission, you're going to be like a diaper full of poop. And you're going to have to deal with that. And you don't want to do that. So did I ask permission? And there are all these wonderful things that we can keep talking about. And that's what the book does. But it also challenges you as the user to answer questions about things you might like. And one of the fun things I learned with the BDSM survey, and that one sold out rather quickly, faster than anything else, was that with the BDSM survey, people were shocked about the answers themselves because no one sits down and has a conversation with themselves. And when you make it so, I almost feel uniform and just a matter of fact, you're going through it like you would most other things, not being nervous, but being honest. You want to feel this now. So you start to read your own comments and you're like, oh, I never knew that about myself. And it's interesting. And it also helps you sit down with the partner, talk to the partner, and build a framework. I'm a big fan of considering anything you do a framework. You're dynamic. And it's the scariest thing. It's like the 50 Shades of Grey mentality. Ooh, I see a person. I want to do things with them. Let's just run in and do everything. And everything will be fine. And that's not true. You're dealing with real humans, real bodies. Every body doesn't feel the same way every day. So you might play one way at a certain time, changes the next time, and there's moods. So something like this kind of helps you be able to negotiate and navigate. The more you know your partner and you can read them, the more you can have these amazing play times and scenes. But you don't get there without understanding each other more than just, oh, you want to be tied up? Okay, cool. Let me go tie up your neck and hang you. That might not have been what the person you were playing with wanted to do when they said, tie me up, Yeah. There's a lot of discussion that's going on. And there are a lot of different people. And someone who's mentioning ice cream in there. I taught actually vanilla people about how it is to be in the lifestyle using an ice cream cone. And it's a great thing because I always say we all start vanilla and then we put our toppings in, or we add something to the vanilla base to make it a different flavor. And there's nothing wrong with that. We just have to respect each other. And it seems in this day and age, we're trying so hard to figure out how not to respect the people around us. And I'm totally not a fan of that. You have to find a way to accept a person. Even if you don't like a person, accept them. It was Tupac who famously said, I don't want to take food out of anyone's mouth, but I just don't want them eating at my table. And that's kind of the mentality that I'm trying to teach with that. Like, if it's not your flavor, if it's not your kink, just move on.
Yeah.
And we've had this talk. The word fetish is almost a curse word. If I put it on a poster, if I put a poster, and I had it, I have the Free Hugs and Spanks shirt, which I'm rocking, but I also, if you see it a lot of times when I advertise, it used to go fetish monsters and more. And that affected human beings in a way that I could not understand. It was a word. They're like, what if my kid sees it? And I'd ask, why does your kid know what a fetish is if they're 8? What are you fundamentally doing wrong as a parent that they understand what fetish is? But putting the word desires, they had no problem with desires.
Yeah.
They suddenly were like, oh, desires. Yeah. And to me, that's almost more sexual and more like open to interpretation than fetish ever was.
It's funny, too, how some of these words have become so interesting. Oh, Wendy's here. She says, hey, everybody. Hey, Rob. Sorry I couldn't be part of the show. She's stuck at her mom's house. Her mom's house flooded, and her mom is on vacation. So she's waiting for the movers to come in and move everything so they can pull up all the carpets. And so much love to you, Wendy. We love you, and we're sorry. Stick around, Wendy. Maybe you can actually win something on the trivia because Wendy does not know about the questions for today. So Wendy, you should try playing. But yeah, man, it's interesting because like you're talking about how fetish is a word we can't say. And I've noticed more and more. My kid showed me a band called Killswitch. And I was like, oh, is this Killswitch Engage? And she's like, no. They're just called Killswitch, except it's KXLL. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Why is that? And as I thought about it and I looked into it, I realized that they're a band that only came out in like 2019. And that's because you can't say the word kill on the internet without getting, like, I'm getting dinged, I'm sure. Huge. We're live. Whatever. It is what it is, people. But so because of that, they put the X there so that when it's put up on the screen, no one will get dinged. And I was like, that's, the chilling effect of social media censorship. Exactly. And so because of that, there's certain words that we can't spell or say because we're afraid. And obviously fetish, which I'm going to say, is one of those.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely, and I've had people like promoters, the whole Free Hugs and Spanks sign literally became something because someone was smart-mouthing, a couple people were smart-mouthing in Virginia. So I built a sign to piss people off, and instead I sold a lot of books that show because they liked the humor of this. But the other one, the fetish monsters and more, because I think when you say fetish, people get scared, and that's because there's a lot of that information. There is predatory behavior, and we do hear, unfortunately, this whole project started because young women specifically, but new people in general, are abused when they enter the communities. And it's a scary place because, and I see this in a local community I'm in right now, where people who don't know what they're talking about take advantage of other people who have no clue, and you suddenly get a bad vibe. I can't tell you how much I want to go back to New York City because you can't survive in New York City if you're a predator. You get called out so quickly, and there's no one protecting you because there's just not time for it. You know, problems in New York City happen in 2 days. Out here down in Florida, they extend shit for weeks at a time. You need a censor for me.
No, you're good, homie. You're good.
But it's true because people who know how to be predatory want to stay predatory. And if you read the things that I'm putting out, it gives you the insight to understand what the limits are, what the lines are, how to ask questions. Because you have everyone saying vet. That's the internet thing right now. Vet a person. Like they're going to be a VP. Go vet the person. No, vetting doesn't work because half the people who know a person are just kind of, you know, like, oh, that's my friend. I really know him. And then when something goes wrong, oh, I didn't really know him. You know, like you don't get the honesty, you know, and And we see that even in the comic book industry, where we know there's some bad operators, but everyone's afraid to say the truth because everyone's afraid to get penalized for it. And Lord knows I know that. I called out a creator for what he was doing with women, and it did not help me at all. And it put a target on my back for a few years.
Yeah.
But I have no problem standing up again. I don't care. But I get that. It's a weird, convoluted thing. But when you're getting to know a person, you have to ask something. And one of the things that I noticed no one ever asked was, what's your experience? No one ever asked that question. What's your experience? You say you do all this stuff. What's your experience? Oh, I've been into it since, like for me, I could tell you I was into it from the 90s. But if you don't follow up with the next question, well, what does that mean? It's pointless. You can't just take it at face value. I can't just tattoo on my arm, kinky since, 91, like, but what else is there? And then you ask me and, ooh, that's it. I will tell you, I mean, I have literally 100 pages of content right now just for this new book, plus the Barber Unleashed, which is so sad because and I know you've seen this and experienced it and you've sold it at your table. People don't understand it till they read it, and then they're blown away once they read it. I had people who were you remember this? I had someone who actually wanted to call the authorities on me because I have a free Hugs and Spanks banner at a show, because I was endangering people with the free hugs. And like with everything that's going on in the world, more people need to be spanked and more people need hugs. And I caught that curse before it came out. But it's the truth. If we were spanking and hugging more people, the world would be better.
I agree. I do actually agree with that. And so the Desire Index is on Kickstarter right now. You're selling and pushing. So guys, say this every week. Mr. Anderson has been nice enough to show up. He's got a great prize for you guys for first place. So all I ask is you guys go to Kickstarter, you check out the Desire Index, and if this is something that you're interested in, or if there's someone you think would enjoy it, share it around. Check it out. Like I say, obviously, and this like anything else, it's not for everybody. But actually, I would say in a lot of ways, if you're an adult, it is. Because even if you are vanilla like myself, the knowledge, I've loved learning about this stuff. I found it very interesting because it's not a world I live in, but it is an interesting world, and especially when you get to see it from Rob's eyes, because you're seeing the way things should be if it were to be done perfectly, such as, he's talking about the evolution of it and learning about it. There's the Kickstarter right there. If you guys want to check it out, the link is in there. Please go check it out. Share it around to anyone you think would be interested in it. But yeah, there's so much interesting stuff in there and so much to learn. And I really think that no matter how far we are, even if you're like Rob here and you're like, King since the 90s, babies, that's great. But if you haven't continued to educate yourself and to keep up with trends and keep up with what's going on, you may find that your knowledge is lacking. So it's definitely worth checking out. Rob, but you've done, the funny thing is, what is it? Oh, I listened to Savage Love from the first episode, and it was a great education. Love material like this. Yeah, Savage Love is great. Dan Savage is a really cool dude. From what little I know. I don't want to say that and then find out that years later someone says something and I'm like, crap. Guess what I said. But
I've learned it's better not to like anything. Never publicly talk about what you like. Never talk about who you like, and you'll be safe. Seriously, I've watched so many shows and movies and stuff and just stopped talking about them because people are bitching about so much stuff that I'm like, I don't want to have to defend the things I like. So I just don't usually talk about them unless someone's like, oh, hey, I went and saw this movie. And I'm like, oh, dude, I saw that. I loved it. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't like it. That's fine. We can talk about it singularly, but over the internet, no interest. But like I said, you've advocated for a lot of stuff. We'll talk about the Desire Index today, but I'd also love to talk about things like Jax the Anderson, Cat Dad and Supermom, your work with Continuum Comics. If you could bring that stuff up real quick, just so everyone can check out the other works that you're into. All right, Jax the Anderson and Cat Dad and Supermom, specifically Cat Dad and Supermom, is a story about a young man, actually happens to be my son, who is autistic, and he tries to figure out the world by once he deals with it, he comes home to his dad, talks to his dad. His dad gives him the dad advice. He happens to have a comic book creator as a dad. And he kind of takes that into his dreams, and he makes his parents superheroes, his uncles superheroes. And he learns lessons in the first issue through farts, and in the second issue learns what it means to meet your hero in real life, especially when they're an actor and not actually the hero you thought they were. And it's a great way for families to have that kind of moral moment of discussion, from bullying to expectations, even in the second issues, while having fun. Because it's got a Scooby-Doo kind of silly feeling to it in the dream, as dreams hopefully are silly sometimes. And it really is this inspiring story for me, not only because it's about my son, but because creating that comic, Jackson Anderson, he stopped ripping up books. He's now in second grade reading to the point where the teacher loves it. He's autistic. He was nonverbal at a point, and now he's considered verbal. This makes me absolutely thrilled to be able to even have the conversation and say he's doing such a great job. It makes me so happy. And then we had like the influencer. This is an interesting character. This is through Continuum Comics. He's basically the Captain America Superman, but he's protecting the Hood, which we don't hear about a lot. Usually you get B-list characters protecting the Hood. And he's overpowered for what he's doing. And there's a big secret about him that blew a lot of people's minds who have read it. And I kind of like that, playing with that. Even Wolf and Fox, the divorced duo, who are trying to co-parent a city together. And it's one of those fun things where you have real life. And I mean, anyone who's read it has really loved how dark this particular project got. Because I mean, think about when you're divorcing someone, if anyone who's been through it, you know that you see the person that at one point you thought you were in love with, now completely ruining any idea you have of them for the rest of your life. And that's kind of what they're going through. And we get into the thick of it right away. And they literally turn on each other. And imagine that. Imagine seeing two superheroes ripping into each other. Then we have in this one, I'm trying to find a page that's not too scandalous. Here we go. So this is Heroing by the Hour. This is, oh man, I cannot. There we go. This is Heroing by the Hour. That's JW. The basic idea is that if suddenly a comet went over the sky and we suddenly had super enhanced human beings or enhanced humans, what would that mean? To me, it would mean a bunch of supervillains, no superheroes. And the one guy who happens to be the world's only superhero saves people at a wrestling match because all he'd rather do is be a wrestler than being the world's only superhero. So that's a couple of the things I've worked on. I'm pretty proud of the work that Continuum Comics had. Continuum Comics kind of went away after we heard about all the negativity of publishers, because right then and there, it didn't feel like a good time to be a publisher. And, and me being a publisher was about helping people. Everyone's heard about the Scout situation that's going on now and the dozen other creative firms, because that's really what a lot of these have become, creative firms that are shopping out other people's IPs as opposed to actually promoting IPs and really trying. And it's sad, but, you know, I don't want to be part of that. The other things that I have created were monsters, where I turned the classic universal monsters into human beings, gave them genetic disorders, and it was Hollywood who were the real monsters for making them monsters on the silver screen. We worked on the Advocator, which is tonight's gift. You guys will get a set of Advocators, because I found it. After Ian, I thought we had lost a lot of comics. I happened to find not a lot, like a minimalistic amount of these. This is literally, I think, one of 6 now of the collection.
Oh, cool.
And that's it, because I had so many things destroyed. Now, Chuck, of course, is in here with Belial.
And with Welcome to the Void.
And with Welcome to the Void, which I'm so sad to see that you haven't put out the second issue yet. I can't.
Yeah, I know. It is gonna happen. I don't know when. At this point, I haven't put anything out in about a year and a half or so, just because of where my head's been at and everything. But I will be coming back to it, and that's something that I will be continuing on, because I did love that series.
Yeah, and it's funny because you get to look at a book like this that I worked on about 5 years ago, and you kind of start looking around for the other creators, and you've seen how far some of them come, and some of them aren't around anymore the same way. But it's still an interesting thing, and I made a promise that I was going to sell every issue and get awareness brought out to every one of these creators, and I've never forgotten that promise. So every time I run across something, I try to get into someone's hands, because you as readers are so important to every creator, because you are what keeps it going. And you're basically creatively our focus.
Well, and what was great about the Advocator, for those of you guys, for whomever wins tonight, what's awesome about the Advocator is it was shorts from ongoing series that were happening at that time. And so you get to check those out, and then you might find some stuff that really interests you. Hey, Ryan, what's going on? You guys might find some stuff that's really interesting to you, and you might want to check the internet and try to find out the creators online or whatnot. You might find one called Belial and go, oh my gosh, Chuck did this? Yeah. I do okay stuff now and then. I do stuff that's not just podcasting sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Why don't we, because we do have to go to break and then start trivia. Why don't, liar, you do awesome stuff all the time. Oh, you. Rob, can you tell us one more time about the Desire Index and then what today's prize is?
Okay. So the Desire Index is basically part of the adult tales that you grew up to read. This is actually meant for the adults in the room. It talks about things that you might understand. If I torture a woman in a horror book, everyone applauds it. I can do anything I want on a cover, scaring the hell out of her. But if I say, no, this is what I do on the weekend, it terrifies people. And I think that's because they don't understand it. So the Desire Index is basically going to challenge you as a human being to answer a series of questions, and it'll bring awareness, not just about yourself, but about your partner. And you never know how kinky you really are till you try it. So it's basically this idea of getting to in your head and letting you express who you are. Because even as me, as the creator of all this, I still struggle with how we were raised versus who we really are. Because we have all this, and I say this all the time, you get all this like programming shoved down your throat. And as an adult, you have to kind of spit it up so you can be who you're really meant to be and be that diverse, open human being and kind of forget the dumb things you were taught along the way. And for just listening to me talk about this and Barbara Unleashed, which again is a young woman's journey through the New York City fetish underground, we're going to be giving you the original Advocators, 3 issues, all of it for the winter tonight. You get the fall edition, the winter edition, and the summer edition. There was no spring edition because in Florida there was no spring. And there never will be.
I feel that. Guys, so please go check out the Desire Index on Kickstarter right now. And then, you know what? Rob and I are actually going to be right back. Hopefully, Rob can stick around for the whole trivia. But we're going to be right back with some trivia right after this.
Programming on the EXP is made possible by viewers like you, or your local comic shop, or that Kickstarter you backed, or the publisher you like, or comic industry professionals who want to share a message with the world. Really, anyone who wants to advertise with us can. If you're interested in seeing a product you know and love, or are creating, or are publishing, or are involved with, advertised here on The Experience, and having your message shared with our viewers, please reach out by scanning the QR code below or visiting our website and using the contact form.
Symphonic verses, Nocturne's romance. A song of romanticized darkness, dreaming dead by sleep.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
What's up, everybody? So good to see you guys back here. We're about to start trivia. And, Rob, just so you're aware, what I like to do with the trivia questions is I like to theme them based on our creator and their creations. So you might see some, you might hear some trivia about some things that you really, that you're like, oh, okay, cool. So we're going to play along with, this is kind of the Rob-themed trivia day today. It's Chuck Unleashed without you here, Wendy. It's true. I'm going nuts. So, for those of you, for anyone who's new here, first person to give us the right answer, 3 points. Second gets 2. Everybody else gets a point. And remember, no Googling. We will give you hints. Rob does not know the question, so he can answer, but that doesn't mean he's right. So let's start it out. Question number 1. Which saint has a cross named after him because he felt he was unworthy of being crucified like Christ?
I know that one.
I knew you would. I actually looked it up. I was very interested. Yeah, so the saint had a cross that was obviously an X, which we see on the front of Barbara, the first Barbara Unleashed. Not St. Peter, not Christopher. See, I knew Stevie B would come in there. Stevie B's got the 3 points. Phil Ailing. Oh, hey, what's up, Phil? I got to write everyone's name down while I do it. And so Stevie B's got the 3 points. And Wendy, you can answer them. Yeah, not Christopher, Wendy. In fact, we already have the right answer. St. Louis. No, Eddie, not St. Louis. Andrew. Okay, cool. Phil got the 2 points. Everybody else gets a point. Bam. St. Andrew. I know you knew that one. Here's a tough one. How many live-action Catwomen have there been?
How many what?
Live-action Catwomen.
I know that one.
Wendy, just try moving your sometimes your YouTube might have backed up, so just try moving it forward. You do know that one, you think?
I'll let everyone else answer, but yeah.
Okay. I'm interested. Wendy says 5. 5's too few. 6, 3, nope. 4, nope. We got some answers coming in. It takes them a second anyways. How many do you think it is, Rob?
If I'm not mistaken, it was, I don't know if it's 7 or it's 8. It's one of those two.
Okay, well, Eddie's closest with 10. It's less than 10, though, but more than 7.
So 9.
Lorena's here. Lorena.
There goes. Phil says 9. I think he nailed it.
Did Phil say 9? Yeah, Phil did say 9. And Phil is correct. Yes, it is 9.
Are you counting voice actors?
Nope. Yeah, I know. I looked it up. I was like, oh, okay, because, of course, the Gotham TV show and stuff like that. So.
Oh, I figured that one. Plus, there's Birds of Prey.
Yeah. So who was it first? It was, you said it was Phil first?
Phil.
Yeah, Phil and then Eddie. Okay, cool. So Phil gets the 3 points.
And Stevie B gets it over at House of Collectibles.
All right.
I wonder who I'm missing, because I was at 7 or 8, and I didn't know if you were counting one person who's never identified as Catwoman, but you all knew what she was.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look, but yeah, I would check Google again. But yeah, it was really interesting. Okay, question 3, everybody. How many major sports team franchises does New York host? New York City. New York City.
Do they have to play in New York? Like, do the Giants and Jets actually count?
Yeah, they do for some reason.
And you mean New York City, not New York, because that's a difference.
Yes. Yeah. So Buffalo, no. Nothing like New York City. So Eddie and Steve are very close. Actually, Eddie did end up getting the right answer. Because Eddie was smart and spammed.
Yeah,
so
Eddie guessed them all.
I mean, that's the way to do it, right? So Eddie's got the 3 points. Who's going to come in and give me my 2-pointer? Stevie B is going to come by and give me my 2-pointer. That's right, folks. It's 11. There's 11 major sports teams in New York City. Whew. Next, what state houses the oldest continually inhabited city in the United States? Eddie says, slice me, fry me, and call me spam. Do you know this one, Rob?
I would assume it'd have to be. I can give you the hints. It's either you're saying the oldest city, right? Not the oldest state. So that you're talking around the Boston area because that's where we first landed.
You would think that, but no.
Really?
Okay, and so the right answer was said right away by Stevie B. It is Florida. And Wendy came right in behind. So Stevie B gets those 3 points. Florida.
You're talking about the Spanish.
It's been a city continuously ever since the Spanish had it. St. Augustine.
Oh, I actually go there. I actually know.
Yeah. St. Augustine, Florida is the oldest continually inhabited city in North America.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I know, right?
I would have thought Boston for sure.
I know, right? That's kind of where my brain went too. But when I saw Florida, I was like, okay, great, because I wanted some Florida questions.
Yeah, it couldn't be New York. I knew it wasn't going to be that. That was too easy.
Right? What is the only state to have a state gem that is not a mineral?
Hawaii?
This is another tough one. Dude. I'm just going to say, yeah, nicely done. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good.
One of the comics I actually wrote, Eclipse, was about the Hawaiian hero. And
that's why I did it, yeah.
Hawaii. So, yeah, I did know that one.
That's good, yeah. No, so Eddie Von B gets the 3 points, and then who came in with the 2? Eddie says, thanks! And then Stevie B gets the 2 points, and then everybody else gets a point for Hawaii. Okay, Texas. Yeah, no, definitely not Texas. And yeah, it's black coral. That's their state gem. Okay, which neurodivergent term literally means alone? So when we're talking,
I should know this,
right?
Now, is this what the neurodivergents use, or is this what the doctors are using?
It's a term that doctors use. You use it a lot. Vendetta's in the house, and he comes flying in with a correct answer right away. Nicely done, Steve Vendetta. It is autism. Autism comes from the Greek autos, which means self or alone. Which I thought was
autism
really
or ADHD.
Right. And I believe, was it Wendy who came in with the... Yep. And then Wendy Gale gets those 2 points. Eddie, Riley, Bill. All right, cool. Dude, we're flying through these. What are we on now? We're on... Okay, we've already done 6. So you know what? We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to finish this up right after this.
Did you know that every Experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out. Twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code.
Live from New York. What? Oh, sorry. Live from Cleveland? It's Friday night? It's Friday Night Live! With Nancy McCann. And Ricky. And sometimes Carlos. And featuring boxes and boxes of rare comics. Unique collectibles. Lots of smiles and conversations with new friends. Friday Night Live with Comics Unlimited. Friday night from 9 to 11 on The Experience.
My name is Mark Weiss, and I am the founder and president of an organization called Comic Books for Kids. 6 years ago this month, we embarked on a journey of passion and heart. Our goal was to make a difference for children in hospitals and cancer centers. We want to thank our friends for allowing us their support and for providing us with the means to make so many happy with their gracious give to us.
You make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Poor Ryan. Trivia's hard. It can be, guys. It really can be. But you know what? It all it depends on the day. I love Stevie B says he's like the teacher in school that you love to hate. I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with that. Today has been tough, but you guys are doing terrific. Welcome back, Kenneth. Good to see you, buddy. We're gonna keep moving forward, but as we do, remember to check out the Desire Index on Kickstarter right now. That's what Rob and I are talking about today, and that's where a lot of these trivia have come from. All taken from the inspirations of my boy Rob Anderson. So, question number 7. And by the way, just so everyone's aware, between first place and fourth place, there's 4 points. Between first and fourth place. So, it is tight, guys. So, it's definitely still anybody's game, literally. Limp Bizkit would often give love... Limp Bizkit would often give love to which NFL franchise? Oh, that's hilarious. JD says, what do you call it when you're neurodivergent but also adorable? Autism. That's cute. That's definitely Jax. Not Tampa Bay, though you're close. Not the Bills. Do you know this one, Rob?
Dolphins.
Got the Dolphins.
Really?
Yeah. Because we've got a bunch of answers, I might as well say it. Because the boys are from Jacksonville.
Oh, the Jaguars.
Yeah.
I knew it was a team. They have the same. The colors are similar between the two.
Yeah.
Ironically.
All right. So Eddie got the Jags. 2, 3. Who else got the Jaguars? I'll give it to Phil because he did say Jackson.
Okay.
You can tell he was trying to type quick. 1, 2. Give a point to Steve. Give a point to Wendy. Make sure that everybody gets some love. All right. That's right. Jacksonville Jaguars. Go them. Question 8. Name 2 of the heavenly virtues. We always talk about the 7 deadly sins, and we're here with Mr. Anderson. But what about... Oh, I was just mentioning your name, Wendy, because I was giving you a point. What about the 7 heavenly virtues? Do you think you can name 2 of them, Rob?
Honesty and forgiveness.
No, neither of those. How messed up is that? Oh, did Eddie get to? Comic collecting. Yeah, Phil, that should be. Phil, I'm going to give you an extra point for making me laugh because that's good. Chastity and justice is incorrect. Justice is correct. Chastity is not. Compassion and love, no. Faith and peace, faith is one. Honesty and love, neither of those.
So someone type faith and justice real quick.
Right? Fortitude and justice. Correct. Yes, Eddie. Fortitude and justice. 1, 2, 3.
Patience
Fortitude and
faith.
justice. Patience and faith. No. Faith and justice. Well, yeah, you already did that one. You already got yours. Who else? Faith and justice. Thank you, Wendy. Wendy gets the 2 points, and then I'll make sure that everybody else gets one. So the 7 heavenly virtues are faith, hope, justice, prudence, temperance, charity, and fortitude. So there's 2 7. There's 2 sets of virtues. This is the heavenly virtues. There's also another one called the charity virtues or whatever. Yeah. And they're different, or calendar virtues or something. But yeah, these are the ones, I guess, from the Bible. So yeah, we got that one. Let's go. Question number 9. Which MCU actor recently won his first Oscar?
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and I was pretty sure that was going to be an easy one. Well, yeah. And I'm glad I put it. I usually put an easy one towards the end because I know that usually I go long. Yeah.
And you got 2 right away. Eddie and Wendy.
Eddie and Wendy. All right. Oh, shoot. I screwed this one up. 1, 2, 3. Blah, and yeah. Okay, cool. Rob down. I love Phil. Oh yeah, Phil. I still owe you one for making me laugh because you did. You did great. Question 10, everybody. This is the last one. Remember, everyone, check out the Desire Index on Kickstarter right now. Please share it with anyone you think would love it, and certainly check it out for yourself because it is a hell of an education. The number of presidents who were born in New York State. Kenneth, I think you're a little bit behind, but I will give you points for chastity, and yeah, I'll give you points. The number of presidents who were born in New York State. Okay, so far we have 0. We have 4. Both of those answers are incorrect. 7 is incorrect. Wendy pulls off the Eddie thing, and Wendy gets the 3 points for it. Oh, she's coming in hard, guys.
I thought it was 5 because I know I can name 3. I just don't know the other 2.
Yeah, I mean, was Trump born in New York State? That's what I thought. Yeah.
Trump, Van Buren, and Roosevelt. No, Theodore Roosevelt, was it?
Stevie B gets the 2 points, and then of course Eddie gets a point. Right. Okay. Everybody else gets points all the way across. All right, cool. So can you tell everyone once again about our prizes and about the Desire Index?
The Advocator was a way to promote creators' creations. You got a taste of it here, and if you liked what you saw, you went further and you found a way to get the rest of the series. It is out of print at this point. I don't think anyone really has a lot, so you're getting the last of what was created. And we're excited to get it to you. And again, you can follow up with the creators. And the Desire Index is your way to learn about the kinky culture and how much you're into it. You might not even realize it. And a way to build a dynamic with a partner to have a lot of fun that just doesn't involve lube and is something deeper than that.
Rob, man, thank you so much for coming out tonight. It's been so great hanging out with you, talking everything, and just a great look back on everything you've done, and a look forward too, because I'm really excited to see what else you bring moving forward.
Well, there's going to be more. You can count on that.
Oh, I have no doubt, dude. I have absolutely no doubt. You've gotten through a lot of crap, and you've kept on going, and I'm so happy. That's right. I am Chuck, and I give a puck. So today, dude, this was so tight. We had a second place tie between Stevie B and Wendy. So Wendy can create the answers, but boy, can she dish them out too. Nicely done, guys. But our winner again today, one of our trivia masters, he's won a lot. My boy, Eddie Von B. Congratulations, Eddie. You win those 3 great issues what was the prize 2 weeks ago? You didn't announce it last week. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes. Thank you, Stevie B. You won a copy of Ace Blade #1. So I've spoken. Yeah, it is a great book. I've spoken to Danny Quick, and he is sending that out. So yes, it's Ace Blade #1. So Eddie won. Eddie, you're going to be getting those 3 books. Eddie, I would love to hear what you think about them, because between myself, Rob, and Travis, we put so much into those, and so did the other teams. I'd love to hear what you think. Guys, nicely done, everybody. Thank you so much. We've got 360 Comics coming up soon. Everybody like, share, show off the channel, the show, and, of course, the Desire Index. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Rob. Much love to you, homie. Everybody, 360 Comics coming up next. Thank you for everyone here at the EXP and Triple T. I am Chuck, and I give a puck. See you next week.